Hi everybody, we are going to have Dr. Katie on here and we're going to talk about the beauty balloon and how to do face yoga with this little device so it adds resistance. And I'm just going to try to get Dr. Katie here. And thank you for joining, and please ask whatever questions you have. So we're just going to talk unless you're asking us specific questions or things you want to know or see. Okay, here's Dr. Katie. Very soon, so thank you all for joining. And as we're waiting for Dr. Katie to join us, I just want to tell you I love this device. Here she is. Hi, Katie.
How are you? Happy Saturday.
Yes, happy Saturday. I'm wearing pink in honor of the beauty balloon.
I got a little bit on too. I have a little bit on of sort of pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see you again. So
You.
I was just telling everyone to please ask us what they want to see, what they want to hear, and otherwise we're just going to do our spiel. But we're really glad to have people showing up and joining us.
Yes, absolutely. And more people are picking up their beauty balloons, which is so great. I just had someone email me. They want to see more, more videos, more instructions, show us. So that's great, Sandy. So this is actually perfect timing because she just emailed me this morning. So she's like, and what was interesting, she said, I have been doing face yoga for 3 years and she was not getting where she felt she should be. And as she started to use the tools, she said, oh boy, this is next level. So I was so happy to hear her say that, when she was communicating with me. And so I said, absolutely, we'll do more. And I said, I just happened to be doing a live today. So that's really great. So
And I got an email asking when am I going to do a class for people that have the beauty balloon, because I do my regular face yoga classes, and I'm when we get enough we can do a live class, and I'm going to record like a short video to help my followers who have bought the beauty balloon also. But it does add resistance. So I always say, like, if you like do this to your arm, you're going to exercise your arm, but if you put a weight in your hand, you're going to get more results. And that's pretty much what this does. It adds resistance and it just gives you faster results.
right, it gets that muscle to hypertrophy much quicker. I was doing my weights this morning, Sandy, in the gym. Same thing. I was doing my dumbbells, and I'm up to 20 pounds. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the same concept. Anytime you submit skeletal muscle, voluntary skeletal muscle, to resistance, it responds better. So that's what this is all about. Really growing our strength in the head and neck region. We work so hard to grow our strength and build our strength below the clavicle, and we're ignoring such a vital part of overall health as we age. So this is why I love talking about these topics up here in the head and neck region, particularly keeping the tongue. The tongue is very, very strong, full range of motion, high up on the palate, so we can maintain all of these functions we take for granted and never go down the pathway of snoring, Sandy, like we've talked about. And what I love that you emphasize, and I think you're one of the only ones, Sandy, that I see talking about improving your mood, the mental health component of doing head and neck movements, facial exercise. I love that you stress that when on your feed. And there was an interesting study that was just in the fall that they looked at postpartum depression. And what they did is they took a group of women of 20, Sandy, I'll have to send this to you. Dr. Rumiko Okamoto did the study. And of course, she does all the facial exercise studies to look at mood and depressive symptoms. But she took a group of 20 women, subjected them to facial exercise. It was only 1 day a week, which was interesting. But they did 30 minutes, which we know is a little too long for folks. But these were postpartum gals who were suffering from depression. She did it for 2 to 3 months total. they were given this questionnaire and they did some objective measurements of facial expression. So that's a wonderful result showing that these were able to improve their mood, their depressive symptoms. They reported all of these patient-reported outcome measures. For her primary endpoint was her depressive questionnaire that they use for studies that's approved for these types of mental health studies. So that's a wonderful segment. We've talked before about the elderly population that she's also done the research on. So I love to see her including a younger population who really suffers. Postpartum depression is debilitating. And when you're a young new mom trying to take care of a newborn, this can just really handicap you. So I love to see that, just doing these types of facial movements and exercise. So we want to do a study where we bring in the tool, which will take it to the next level, and they can do it for less time and a little more frequent. I'd like to see them do it at least 4 or 5 days a week. I like to do mine, Sandy. I do something every day. I use these every day
I do too.
in one way or another.
Yeah.
One way or another. Yeah. So,
and I love the mental, emotional health thing is something I'm really, really stressing and focusing on. We all want to look better, sure, but I don't know anyone that doesn't need to feel better also. We have so much stress on us, and I have seen, I love the studies that you mentioned, but I've also seen in my own life and with my students, and I get comments all the time like, wow, I didn't expect that this was going to make me feel so good. And it is magic. And sometimes we don't have the energy to move our whole bodies. If we're going through a hard time or going through stress, we're grieving, postpartum depression, as you mentioned, exercise will make you feel better. But sometimes you don't have the energy to do that. But most people can sit in a chair and do 5-10 minutes of face yoga, and you will feel better. And I just spreading that word. That's something I'm really focusing on this year. I want everybody to understand and try it for themselves and see.
And it's a first step, just like you said, Sandy, and it is debilitating, right? Depression, it's a daunting task just to take a bath sometimes for people, or even to prepare a meal, right? These can be such a debilitating process to work through and get through. So like you said, if you're sitting in a chair, start with this. Start with head and neck exercise. Just begin small steps every day. Do a little bit every day. Then you might feel better. Maybe now you can you can go outside and go for a walk, but just start with this and then see how you progress. So I love that. I love that mental health aspect, because we know we want to encourage people to exercise their body for these types of mental health issues, but it can be such a daunting task a lot of the time for folks. So this is a great way to start that process. And then we get beyond that. And now we can talk about all the other stuff, right? The other stuff,
Right.
Snoring, we don't want to snore. We don't want to go down the pathway of obstructive sleep apnea. We don't want to go down the pathway of dysphagia with difficulty swallowing and all the oral frailty and all these things that I've seen through my career being in the hospital, where I see the sickest of the sick. I see the sickest of the sick. I see these aspirations, pneumonia from my pulmonologist who would bring specimens, rule out aspiration pneumonia. And that is what keeps patients a lot of the time from getting out of the hospital if they're at risk for aspiration when they're swallowing, when they've had a hospitalization. So let's not get there. So this is part of prevention.
Yeah. And I think most people, I'm 61, most people my age have seen this, like with their parents, their grandparents. You've seen the trouble eating, swallowing, garbled speech, trouble communicating, and a few tongue exercises really can prevent some of that and help stave that off. So
absolutely,
it's a good
we
thing
don't
to
want to
do.
go. We don't want to get there. We don't want to go down that oral frailty. We call it sarcopenic dysphagia or oropharyngeal dysphagia. These are some of the medical terms. Don't allow yourself to go there. And this is simple. And it takes a community like what you built, Sandy, with how you do it there where you are, where you're located, and on your feed. You've built a community, and I'm doing that as well. So our communities cross, which is really great to build that, and it helps us stay motivated to continue to exercise and do all these positive things, because we all want to be around for our children, our grandchildren, maybe great grandchildren. We all want to be there and be the best version of ourselves, no matter our age, when we're 70, 80, and we're all going to live to be 81 on average now. You know, life expectancies keeps going up and up. And so we're looking at 81 on average, and let's hope we're way beyond that and strong and healthy.
And
so
and you can exercise your body all you want, but if you can't eat and you can't breathe, you're going to have problems. So you have got to take care of yourself above the neck as well.
absolutely, absolutely, and it matters. It absolutely matters. And we're becoming a nation of mouth breathers and snoring and obstructive sleep apnea, and these are all impacting our health in such a negative fashion. I could talk for hours and hours on it, but I know folks want to see the exercises, so we'll go ahead and
We better show you how to use this.
yeah, exactly. So I figured, and what you get the instruction booklet, and it's broken out by tongue exercises, lip exercises, and cheek exercises. I thought we can probably go through, do a few, Sandy, from each chapter if we want to kind of do that. As I'm talking or you're talking, I'll kind of keep demonstrating if you want to kind of do that, if you've got the book.
Okay, I've got the book. So the first one I have is tongue slingshot, and this is one I love to do.
Yeah.
And the tongue exercises, do you want to demonstrate or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we kind of go back.
The tongue exercises are really important for the lower face. So it's going to help any double chin, turkey neck. It's going to tone up your neck, your jowls, pretty much everything from here to here. It's very important, and it's doing amazing things on the inside. So this, you could just stick your tongue out, but like Katie is pushing against this silicone tool, and it's giving a lot of resistance. It's going to work faster, work better to strengthen those muscles. And it's easy to do. And I always tell everyone to do face yoga exercises for a minute at a time, but I find a minute's hard when you're using this. So you might only make it 20 seconds or something, and you can build out. But even for me, even though I've been doing it now for I don't even know how many months now, but it's hard for me to do a whole minute of these. It really
and it's
works
great.
awesome.
All here, and you know, we're strengthening that tongue, so we're going to maintain a strong swallow pattern. We're not going to have any of these issues that I'm talking about. We're not going to snore. We're not going to let that tongue fall back or in that low resting position. We're going to keep the whole tongue, including the back part, but we call it the posterior third, up on the palate. So this is so great. And then your double bonus is you're going to improve your jawline, because all these muscles right here are going to help tighten up. So you're improving your function and you're helping to improve your aesthetics. So it's a win-win. This is a win-win, and it doesn't matter your motivation, just as long as you're doing it, because it's you're helping yourself.
And most of our followers are women, but the men are snoring and getting the CPAPs and all that stuff, and they can really benefit from this too. Their airways are collapsing and being obstructed, and they can, if you can get your husband or your partner, your brother, to do this, this is going to help men too. And as we age, our cheeks start to collapse on the sinuses, and then the airways out of shape, and you're just having breathing problems, snoring problems. So I love this exercise. That's the 2-step, and these are they're easy to do, but you really feel it. It's not like it's something very complicated. It's just a nice simple tool. You can do it. We can help you. If anyone buys them and has questions, you can ask me, and I'll help you. And
I'm strong. I mean, I'm strong, and I know, and I'm dying. So you can do just like Sandy's saying. And one point that I want to mention too, women catch up to men in terms of snoring when they reach menopause. So average age of menopause is 51. So as our estrogen declines, and you'll hear people talk about the musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause. The musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause doesn't stop at the clavicle, as Sandy and I have talked about. We're losing muscle strength, our muscles are deconditioning, they're atrophying, and we're having bone loss in the head and neck region, just as we are below the clavicle. So fitness really needs to be a head to toe process. You have to have a strong airway in order to do the physical activity that your doctor tells you. And again, these can be daunting tasks if you go in and you're just said, start diet and exercise. You have to be able to breathe. You have to have a strong airway to do that. And just like Sandy said, you have to be able to chew the nutritious foods that our doctors, my colleagues in nutrition, medicine, obesity medicine, that they want you to eat. They want you to eat crunchy vegetables, lean meats. These things take effort, labor, if you will, to chew. And so these types of strengthening exercises allow you to eat these nutritious foods that are incredible healthcare folks that are out there, whether it's a fitness personal trainer or it's an MD, my colleagues in medicine. They want us to eat all these wonderful foods, which we do. And I know, Sandy, for me, I mean, I'm 58, and I know sometimes before I started to exercise, I would kind of at a restaurant, I don't really want to order that crunchy salad because it's going to be so laborious for me to chew. Maybe I'll just order the soup. Well, not anymore, because I have stamina. I have stamina to be able to eat and chew longer. Plus, I can breathe. I'm not mouth breathing anymore, because when you mouth breathe, that also compromises your ability to, you end up slurping your food when you are a mouth breather, and you'll eat really fast. You tend to slurp and gobble down your food if you're mouth breathing. When you nasal breathe, all these types of functions kind of fall in place, of course. But you got to watch that. And so now I'll order that crunchy salad and I'm jump right into it. I have it's not daunting for me at all. Like I was just eating crunchy Brussels sprouts last night. I made these Brussels sprouts and they were amazing. I put a little pepper on them and a little bit of olive oil, and they were amazing. And they were, you really have to chew those when they're not, fully soft and cooked. So,
and you want to eat those delicious, nutritious foods all of your life. We all know people that are basically having to have pureed food as they age, or drinking those Ensure drinks because they have trouble eating. So take care of your face, your mouth. And so Katie's doing the trampoline, the tongue, no, not the trampoline. Is that
yep,
the trampoline?
two-step, yep. So
Yep.
the two steps
Okay.
where you go side to side. Yep. And again, this is all resistance. All these exercises are showing resistance to strengthen and build that tongue strength. I love the row. We'll do the row for anybody who's worried about, oh my gosh, am I snoring? Let's prevent the snoring. Here you go.
And I get a lot of comments where people really don't realize that muscles of the face are the same as the body, and they're afraid to do anything with their faces. They're afraid some people are even afraid to get a facial massage, let alone work their face. They're afraid it's going to give them more wrinkles. Muscles don't work well if they're not getting blood flow and nutrients to them. You have to move your facial muscles just like your body muscles. They don't work if you just let them sit and atrophy. Just like if you never exercise your arm, it's not going to work well for you. We have to, our facial muscles are muscles, just like every other part of our body. They're just a lot smaller, so they respond faster. You're going to notice results quicker. And I think if you start doing some of these things Katie's doing, and add the cheek and the lip ones, you're going to see some results pretty soon. You're going to start to notice little subtle results, and they're just going to get bigger and better. And it doesn't take long at all. We're wearing Katie out.
Okay, that is a workout, Cindy. I know. So there goes again. When you're doing that, I love it. I call it the row because it's like a row motion. And at first you'll feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to kind of gag, and you want that. But look at how I was doing that. I'm not gagging. And why is that? Because everything is so strong and toned. My uvula is lifted. The whole throat, the whole area of the back of that throat, the whole ring, all of those muscles are strong and tight on me. And that's why.
Yeah, so yeah, there is like a little build-up process. You might not be able to do it very long at first, and just do what you can. Don't push it. Just do what you can, and you'll build up quickly. It is kind of hard at first. You're really going to feel it, and I mean, even that, and you're still going to feel. I still feel it every time, every time I do it.
And you've been doing facial yoga for years, and it even challenged you, and that's what I love. That's what I love to see, and that's why I created it for myself, because I felt like the woman who had emailed me today. I didn't feel I was where I needed to be, and I knew from a medical standpoint where I really needed to be. And when I was searching and trying to create stuff, Sandy, and making it, I knew I wanted something that I can manipulate in and around the oral cavity inside the mouth, because you really got to get in there and get the tongue and get the cheeks and get these muscles. And so that's when I, ended up with the triangle shape, which is so complementary to the arches, because we have the dental arch and we have the palatal arch. And so that just worked out really, really, really beautifully to do that. So we did the tongue row and we did the tongue wag, which is not actually in the booklet. So the tongue, it's the same setup, and you can hold it with 2 fingers like this.
And I mentioned before, but I know we have people that keep coming and going here, but you might think, well, why do I need that? I can just stick my tongue out. But it's the resistance. It makes it a completely different exercise when you add the
Totally different.
the
Totally different. And that's why I had to have the tool, Sandy. Exactly. I was doing these exercises. I was doing them because I wanted to stop mouth breathing. I wanted to stop the snoring, the open mouth position, my health, everything, my lab work. I did it with good old fashioned commitment to exercise. And I didn't really change a whole lot else. I mean, I didn't change my diet. And I still in doing my, my classes, the exercises that I go to, good old fashioned commitment to doing strength training. It's strength training from the clavicle and up. And so, and I did it, and I wake up with a moist mouth. My lips are closed. I look back. I feel like I look better. My jawline tightened up. So I had some aesthetic benefits come in as well. More contours and shape and symmetry, just like the study that I posted with Dr. Murad. And if folks don't know, that really good study that was done in 2018 at Northwestern with the dermatologist, Dr. Alam, where they took women ages 40 to 65, subjected them to facial exercise over a 5-month period. Just about every endpoint, the women showed improvement in, and when ranked by plastic surgeons and dermatologists, ranked them as being 3 years younger in their photographs from baseline to the 5-month endpoint. So lots of really great benefits. And I feel like that really validated, Sandy, the face yoga community, that this works.
Yeah, it proves it works. And they measured all the, little different aspects of the face. This was all done scientifically.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed with adding the beauty balloon, I really noticed a difference around my lips. Like I work the regular face yoga exercises. I feel like I just really had to work very, very hard to get this area. It's very difficult because we're constantly moving in our mouth. We're talking, we're eating, we're drinking, and it just never stops. And a lot of, as you age, people's upper lip can start to disappear into your skin. You lose that definition. And by doing the exercises that Katie's doing, I got that little flip back on the my top lip without having. I invented a thing, stuffing wet cotton under there, and now this is much more palatable than doing that. And I've got that little flip back, more definition in my mouth, more firmness around here. And I'm 61. I'm not trying to look like a teenager. I'm not trying to obliterate every line and blow everything up. I just want to look the best that I can and feel the best that I can. So we're getting, the improvements in lifting and toning the muscles. We're helping our health, opening those airways, and we're getting that emotional, mental health benefit of just feeling a lot better. We're working around the head and neck, and we're just getting all of those feel-good benefits in a short time, in a very short time. If anybody has any questions, let us know. We're just going on and on, but
I love this question. Yes, I wish I could read these. I'm still kind of learning my way around this. Yes, I see a great question right here. Will these help someone recovering from stroke? Absolutely. This is another reason why I created it. Yes. Anybody who's under the care of a physical therapist, yes, thank you for the thumbs up. Physical therapy, right? You're probably working with your either occupational therapist or physical therapist or speech and language pathologist. Please share this with them. I'm only one person, so I can't reach everybody. But Absolutely. This is a tool that they should be using because we know, of course, with stroke, right? We know stroke causes unilateral paralysis. And so what will happen is people will have a difficult time. You'll have drool and they won't be able to eat and drink. They won't be able to keep their liquid food in the mouth. The tongue will deviate. When you stick the tongue out, the tongue should normally go straight. But somebody that has paralysis from stroke, Bell's palsy, any other type of injury or illness, and even Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, particularly in the beginning, these are very insidious little changes that will begin to happen. This is absolutely, in my opinion, is a must, but I haven't had an opportunity to try to get, and anybody in a nursing home too, we have a little over 50% of our nursing home population suffers from oropharyngeal dysphagia, difficulty swallowing from a weak tongue, a weak tongue. And so these are absolutely the person who talked about stroke. And the beautiful thing about the stroke, let me tell you about the stroke. What happens in stroke, the stronger side ends up getting too strong and will overcompensate for the weak side. So it can be challenging to try to bring back the weaker side with this super strong side. What I purposely created the tools is that you can use them unilaterally or bilaterally. So for example, I can take the triangle and I can just focus on this side of my face. So if this is my weak side, I can emphasize and do things on the weak. And I'm going to show them the stroke question. I'm going to show you two moves right here. So you put this in, this side only. Suck and blow. Push the tongue through it. So if this is the side that's paralyzed from Bell's palsy or stroke, I can work this side unilaterally while my strong side is prevented from moving. And this is a very, very important concept because you want to bring back that weak side as fast as you can. And so here's another one for the weak side, again, for the lip seal, to be able to not drool and they can speak, right? Because this is extremely distressful for family, the patient, everybody. One side.
And there's associations, stroke associations, and Bell's palsy associations that do recommend face yoga to help their patients. And I have done some special videos for people who've had stroke and need to help get one side of their mouth up. But this is face yoga is good for that and recommended and probably used in therapeutic situations, I'm sure.
Absolutely. That was one of the things that I noticed, Sandy, across all, because like I said, I started doing the face yoga moves just because it's so prominent on Instagram. I don't see, there are some physical therapists and speech and language pathologists, but they're not as prominent as some of the face yoga. So when I started to watch you guys, I thought they're doing everything that OT, PT, OT means occupational therapy, physical therapists, our speech and language pathologists, our incredible medical team that works in the rehab, works, in rehabilitative medicine on our floors, on the rehab floors. And so this is a win-win for everybody across the board, whether you're in rehab, you're really trying to rehabilitate illness or injury, or therapy, where you want to, you have the function, but it really needs to be improved. You really need to improve it more. And then those of us that have, function, but we don't want to lose it with aging. So we want to maintain it with aging. And this is the way, just like we were doing fall prevention, Sandy, just like, we're doing our fall prevention so I don't slip and fall where I get out of the tub, getting out of the bed, we want to prevent that from those issues. Well, this is preventative. These movements that Sandy teaches and that the tool provides, adding in resistance, this is preventative. This is preventative from all of these issues. And God forbid, if one of us had one of these issues, a stroke or something like that, we're going to have muscle reserve. So hopefully our recovery would be even that much faster because we got muscle reserve. Just like a patient who is in physical good condition, illness or injury, they're going to recover better. And it's, same thing with here. You bring back these types of functions so much better. So
Katie,
So
somebody just asked, where can they find that literature about strengthening the weak side of stroke? I don't know if you know that or if it's just something they can Google. I think there's a lot of information out there.
there is. There's a whole bunch of information, and where you'll find a lot of these really good, helpful studies is in the physical therapy literature. So if you do a medical research, PubMed is what we all use. The doctors will use PubMed, even though that can be an expensive subscription sometimes. Consensus app, that's a medical research app. They have a free version, and I think they have the professional version. But I think for the free version, you can look at that. But if you just start to Google facial exercise for stroke rehab or things like that, you'll start to see these types of literature, these types of studies brought up, and you'll see lots of good demonstration. But please, if you have these issues, talk to your physical therapist, talk to your speech and language pathologist. These are tools that really should be helpful for them. And once they start to really understand these tools and what they can do in terms of bringing back strength, range of motion, all these important things that we want to maintain, this is just another asset to use to recover faster.
We're getting a little over 30 minutes now. Is there something else you want to talk about real quick before we go, or we should talk about how to get it for one thing, and because we're doing this today, Katie's gonna she's having a Valentine's sale, but she's gonna let our followers get it early. If you want 30% off, you can get that. Is it starting today if they use my link? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So buy through Sandy's link. Sandy will have her link when she posts this. And so go through Sandy's link. That automatically applies 10% off from Sandy. But then for the sale, it's an additional 30% off. So you only need to enter the Beauty Balloon 30 discount code. So it's Beauty Balloon 30 when you go to the checkout. And the tools, you get the two tools, the triangle and the butterfly tool. And then you get the instructional booklet, and you get the storage purse that's waterproof. I really want to encourage folks to travel with this, and it's waterproof. It has holes in the bottom so you can rinse it at the sink and take it to work.
And it comes also in this bag, and this is how I wash it, and then I hang it in the bag and just hang it up until it dries in my home.
Yes. Okay, perfect. So you're using the I forget that material. What?
It's a really nice like net mesh thing. So it's perfect for just hanging it to dry in my house. And lately I've been washing it with toothpaste, so it tastes really good when I use it.
And you can dip it in mouthwash too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Good. I'm glad you're doing it with toothpaste. And a lot of the time I'll do mine in the car, folks, just because it's a time thing. So, I knock it out in the car. So there's so many great things, Sandy. Thanks for doing this and doing what you're doing. So this is a great thing for our health. And
all right, so we'll post this, and if you have questions later, you can ask us at any time. You can message us, you can make a comment on the post. We'll have all the information in there, and it's a really just wonderful addition to face yoga. And I love the health aspect also, because we're all heading toward old age if we're lucky, and we want to be in the best shape we can be.
Absolutely. Mentally and physically, right? Don't forget that the mental and physical and absolutely. So we'll do this again. We'll just keep doing our fun lives, and you all send questions. Follow along to your Triangle of Youth since we do post, and Sandy will share when she does the exercises too, so she'll post them too. And there's always new little different moves that we always kind of come up with, and adding massage and add these other techniques and tools that we're doing.
I had this under my lips today, and I have just a little battery powered massage thing, and it just helps to sort of iron out those little lines up there. So and having this under the lips really helps this area.
Create space. It creates the space between the tissues, so it's a win-win. Yep, all win-win.
All right, it was so good to see you.
Fun, Sandy. I know. So we'll do it again. Just let me know. And
okay.
Our exercises.
All right.
This is
Thank you all for joining. Let us know if you have any questions. Take care.
Bye, Sandy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.